But for right now, I've been waiting for Alan to hear this for a while now. And that is this mysterious audio from this mysterious media member that Alan does enjoy to hear things from. And I wonder if he heard
eat the table.
That man right there, one Stephen A. Smith had some interesting things to say on his podcast the other day. Here's what Stephen A. said about who he's excited to watch for this NBA season.
Led by my man Ime Udoka. I expect big things from them. You know who I think the potential sleeper is? The Sacramento Kings. This brother, De'Aaron Fox. Now, I love my man Magic, who we talked about earlier. The only basketball argument we've ever got in. I was pushing him to draft De'Aaron Fox. He drafted Lonzo Ball. Because I saw what De'Aaron Fox did to Lonzo in the NCAA tournament. And I knew what he was going to do. And I knew what he was going to do on a pro level. And Lonzo Ball hasn't been healthy. But even healthy, he ain't had that kind of game that De'Aaron Fox got on him. So I'm of the mindset Sacramento. I'm just thinking along those lines. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking Sacramento.
We got to cut that up. Just a million of there's like so many things in there that we have to cut up. Alan, first off, now that we have played it, you can officially break my heart if you have heard it. Have you heard that before? And just in general, because again, you do consume just more Stephen A. than I do. Have you heard Stephen A. ever talk about the Kings ever?
No. What I did see is that, which is pretty funny. If I'm not mistaken, the Kings Twitter actually posted the quote.
Oh, did they really?
But they did not post the audio. They did not post the audio. It was just a graphic with the quote. So I saw that, but I did not hear the audio.
Yes. They posted it about an hour ago. Holy. Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, they're ingratiating themselves with Stephen A. Hopefully if Stephen A. makes his way out to Sacramento.
That brother De'Aaron Fox.
If Stephen A. is in the media area.
Oh my God. It's cooked.
I don't even know what I would do. I mean,
would you call him Mr. Smith? Would you call him Stephen A?
First of all, I would wear my own purple suit so that he would then see me and we would make eye contact the same way we did in Las Vegas. But, I think he's onto something, man. And that's the thing. Sometimes people make things too difficult, right? I know people are high on Jaden Daniels, but Caleb Williams and what we saw, let's just make this thing easy. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's easy. You had Harrison Barnes, and I know Stephen A. was not high on Harrison Barnes.
Oh, that brother Harrison Barnes?
If Harrison Barnes is your number one, then we have a problem.
So this brother De'Aaron Fox.
So we know. I did not know that he said that to Magic as far as Lonzo Ball versus De'Aaron Fox was concerned. So there you go right there. You add in a DeMar DeRozan, who everybody knows is just a straight-up hooper. It's simple. This should not even be a hot take. That's why we were all so confused when we were seeing C's and D's and both teams lost the trade. I mean, even when they tried to say that the fit might be questionable, it does not matter because the talent is just better. You know what I mean? And that's what we've always said about Sacramento. You can't sit there and say, oh, well, Sacramento in these small markets, it's hard for them to get people, and it is what it is. They got a draft. That's the only way they can get people. And then Sacramento gets a talent that's probably going to be a Hall of Famer and not even a questionable mark as far as an upgrade from their current player at that position. And now you want to talk about fit? I mean, talk about moving the goalposts. Stop it. So Stephen A., my guy, I knew he'd come around, and I knew he'd come around because Sacramento, that brother De'Aaron Fox is something special. All we need to hear next. All we need to hear next is once Sacramento does get rolling, all I need to hear to make it all complete, them boys are box office. Let me tell you.
Box office. Okay. Them boys are box office. Okay, I love it. I mean, especially Stephen A. He's usually, maybe, this is the podcast. Maybe since it's not ESPN, he doesn't have to talk about the Lakers or the Warriors.
This is real.
This is great. No, that's what I'm getting at is, I think that this is real from him. I think that, we forget sometimes Stephen A. did cover the league for a minute and he does have actual, I think, non-sticky basketball thoughts. And I think this is actually one of them. You don't just randomly pull the Sacramento Kings out the thin air. Like, I do legitimately think he believes in it, and, you know, whatever. It doesn't make me feel 1,000,000% better. Not that Stephen A is, you know, the gold stamp of approval that everybody was looking for, but I definitely like you. I think, again, once again, Alan, you said it perfectly. Like, I think it is just a sign here that the Sacramento Kings might, or their offseason and the troubles, the fit, all of the stuff with DeMar, the concerns, just overblown. And now that the season is actually, you know, we could say it, Alan, it's around the corner. We're a day from tomorrow will be, let's see, a month from tomorrow, I'm sorry, will be media day. So, which, by the way, very excited for that.
In the building.
I'm thinking Sacramento.
I'm thinking Sacramento. I could just imagine his fingers. I just feel like his fingers go crazy.
This brother De'Aaron Fox.
Sacramento. But no, I definitely think that it is a sign that maybe things were overblown. And as we get closer to the season actually coming and being here, people will just look at the paper and say, oh, yeah, the Kings added DeMar DeRozan. What were we thinking saying that this isn't an improvement for this team? They still have Kevin Huerter. We'll play some audio from Kevin Huerter a little bit later. They obviously re-signed Malik Monk. There's no reason to think that the Kings will be worse off this season than they were this previous season. So definitely agree with you there that I just think that is a good thing for the Sacramento Kings. Not saying Stephen A is the voice of reason here, but just, again, a big national star having his eyes on the Kings, I definitely enjoy. And let's take it to that De'Aaron Fox, Lonzo Ball conversation, because I will say, I was a really big Lonzo Ball fan coming out of college. At UCLA, the dude looked like he was going to be it, right? Like, he looked like he was legitimately going to be the new age Jason Kidd and average 10 assists a game and hit, you know, the logo threes and things like that. And, you know, I had some, De'Aaron, frankly, is not my kind of prospect. Like, he's a crazy athlete, but, you know, the shot definitely concerned me. And, you know, I wasn't really certain that, you know, John Wall was kind of just going through his injuries and things like that. I was like, I don't know if I really want to lean into, as Steph Curry is booming and all this, we're going to go with the guy who can't shoot and is comparable to John Wall, who is 30 years old and his career is almost over. Like, it was a bit concerning. So just in general, I mean, let's take it back to the time machine. Alan, how did you feel about, and, you know, I was just honest, so I would hope you would be honest. If you weren't a De'Aaron Fox guy, how did you kind of view those two comparisons? Because that was the De'Aaron versus Shea, De'Aaron versus Ja. Right. The initial thing was Lonzo versus De'Aaron.
Yeah, and the whole thing, I guess got overshadowed by Lonzo's pops and the whole situation. And Lonzo had that's the thing. Lonzo kind of had a broke jump shot too. I think the whole thing with Lonzo was, hey, he can pass, he can do different things, and the shot will come. With De'Aaron, it was, I mean, that same realm of the John Walls, but not as explosive as a Russell Westbrook. So you can't really shoot, but you also can't jump out the gym like a Russell Westbrook, like a Ja Morant. So where are you going to fit? And for me, I thought that De'Aaron Fox he definitely have a place in the league. I didn't know how close to a superstar he would eventually get. And I think we're still trying to figure out that now. I feel like he has probably already exceeded my expectations, but that's simply because there's so many guards that come out. And Lonzo, and I don't know your take on this, Chris. This is from a buddy of mine, and he tried to tell me that he was watching something, and he said, "Let's think about the Ball brothers, okay? You have, and obviously all of their injuries are different, and LiAngelo is just not good at basketball. He should have played football. And you have Lonzo who can't stay healthy. You have LaMelo that can't seem to stay healthy so far." And he said, I was reading something that those clips that you saw when they had that show or whatever, and this is tinfoil hat about the outside court.
Yes, they're playing on concrete.
So maybe there's something to it, but they're playing on concrete every single day. They're getting their work in, but they were in gyms a lot. So I don't know what happened. We wish Lonzo the best, but I think this is also a situation where you have to look at the Kings, and we just talked about the most miserable franchises yesterday, and we talked about the misses. We talked about MB3, Marvin Bagley. We got to talk about De'Aaron Fox sometimes when it comes to you actually hit on that one. And I think the Sacramento Kings are an interesting situation because they do have a decent amount of hits. I mean, you hit in a small span of time. I would say you hit on De'Aaron Fox.
Absolutely.
You hit on Tyrese Halliburton.
100%.
And you hit on Keegan Murray. I mean,
Yep.
that's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So as much as they might be miserable in some aspects, you hit on De'Aaron Fox, and he just had one of his best seasons of his career and the best season of his career as far as points per game. You know, this is a huge season for him. Nothing changes there. But as far as who I believed in more, I think I was convinced that it would be Lonzo, just because of what you thought his game could grow into. Yeah. I don't think we were sure what De'Aaron Fox's game could grow into. And then that mid-range game, kind of the float game, stop on a dime thing, that's really pretty unique based on all the guys we talked about. John Wall had speed. He never had that in his bag. You know what I mean? Derrick Rose didn't necessarily had that in his bag. Derrick Rose had the crazy layup package that nobody else had. Russell Westbrook never really had that. So De'Aaron has become basically a branch off from these crazy athletes, and De'Aaron got out the game just like I got out the game playing pickup, Chris. He kind of, and you've talked about this, De'Aaron is still athletic, but he got out the dunking game early. He doesn't have any pride. I'm trying to yam on everybody, and I think that has really rounded out his game and his career.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's a great point, and I wonder how many people, if they were being honest, feel like De'Aaron has exceeded their expectations. He's 100% exceeded my expectations. Mm-hmm. I thought he was going to be good. I did not think he could be 26, 27 a game good. Yeah. And, I figured he could be the best player on a team maybe, but I didn't think that the team would honestly be that good. I was expecting him to be more of a second fiddle, and that still might be the case, but he has definitely been a lot better of a player, and I have a lot more confidence in him as a number one than I honestly ever thought I would. And that is just straight credit to De'Aaron Fox, who is still getting better too. Like, he is still only entering year 8. And we definitely have a lot of expectations for where his career can still go. And I definitely think there's no reason to assume that he won't get better as his career continues to go on and he continues to develop. Coming up next, we will get into